Before starting this course, let's understand what actually we are going to create, what will be the outcome of this course. We are going to create this kind of page or this kind of application which is called Happy News, where we have Adonis homepage but with the Bootstrap navbar. Yes, Bootstrap, not Tailwind this time. And we have all news. So daily dose of happy news. These news have the images, the title, and then we can click on the title to go inside the news section and read that news. This is absolutely important, and with this image you can understand that we are going to work on the file upload also. But not that thing only, we have this login page, and we can log in here. So we can just log in with the password and the email, and this is from the Adonis Authentication. Sign in, and you can see I'm back on the home page. I can click here. This time, since I'm logged in, I can see the edit and delete button, and also we can see a create button. Yes, ugly logout button is also there, so we can click on logout and it will log me out. We can edit this one, and you can see if I remove this update and select, let's say, another image for Docker, click and it's updated. Go back to all news, and you can see now on the last one we have the Docker image with the title updated. We can also delete, but let's first create a new image, a new article actually, and this is new article, and select once again the svelte image and have some dummy text. Create, it's already created. Go back and boom, you can see the new article is here. Cool. We can click on delete to delete that, and it's awesome and deleted. All these things we are going to create with Adonis and nothing else. Yes, the design is with Bootstrap. But let's see what is the content of this course. Welcome to this AdonisJS amazing course. This is a course built for the beginner and intermediate. You can start from this course and have fun learning Adonis. Adonis provide amazing documentation which is taking you from very beginning to the advanced level. Everything is given in the documentation, but we are covering awesome fields, awesome concepts of Adonis in this course. So before saying what this course is including, I just want to help me by just like this video. Your one like can save a lot of energy for me, because every like gives me the energy to create more awesome content like this. If you have not yet subscribed, go and subscribe to YouTube channel of Bitfumes and follow me on any other platforms. So let's see what we are going to cover in this course. This course is starting with what is Adonis, and then we will create a new fresh Adonis project. The next part is to explore what project structure is, and then we will create some of the routes like view route, post route, and other things. Then we will see how we can get the params from the route, the parameter like whatever ID or slug we are sending. Then we will see what is named route and why we need them. Then we will going to make amazing thing, which is connecting the PostSQL database with our Adonis application. And what is migration? Yeah, this is also explained here. Then we will use the query builder to query on the database, and then use the controller and see why we need the controller. After that, we will work on the form handling thing and the CSRF token for the security and storing something inside of the database. Then we will see how we can create some validation for the form fields we are having, and designing is done with Bootstrap. Yeah, it's not Tailwind, but sometimes we have to use something. And remember, the Bootstrap spelling is incorrect. It's okay. So what next? After that, we will see what is partial and layouts in the edge template, which is Adonis using. Then how we can create the edit form and use the method spoofing to send the patch request from our HTML form. Then we will work on the delete and the resources route, which is absolutely important when you have a lot of CRUD related route, the resource route. Then we will see how we can create the slug for our articles, and we will show the articles and using the model is the part of MVC framework thing. So what model can do, and after that we will see model hooks, and file uploading is the real amazing thing in this course. After that we will add the Adonis authentication and log in the user, and finally we will use the Auth middleware. I think this sounds really amazing. So why don't we just start our amazing Adonis full course on this Bitfilms YouTube channel. Once again, your like is very important. Just go and hit the like button. It's amazing. It's mandatory for you. And if you have not subscribed, go and subscribe to YouTube Bitfilms channel Bitfilms YouTube Bitfilms channel, Bitfilms YouTube channel. Okay, let's start this course. Welcome to this AdonisJS course, and this is going to be really fun because AdonisJS is a fun framework. Fun, when I say that, means it's developer friendly, and all the developers will going to love this framework because of the ease this framework provide. But let's start with the slides. So what is AdonisJS? AdonisJS is a fully featured web framework for Node.js. Think about Express, think about Nest.js. So similar to that, it's a Node.js framework which is called Adonis. Adonis is created by Harminder Virk, Indian person, and this is the proud thing for us, for the all Indians. Okay, Adonis includes everything you need to create a fully functional web application or an API server. It's a MVC framework, like model, view, and controller, so that request flow between these model views and controllers. It is fully support TypeScript, or basically it's written in the TypeScript, so it has all the power of TypeScript, and which is amazingly good thing when you work with any JavaScript application. So Adonis can handle the HTTP request, query the database, authenticate the user, upload files, send email, and do a lot of amazing things. Yes, it has all the potential to create your application to the next level, to scale your application. So think about AdonisJS as similar to the frameworks like Rails, Laravel, or Django, but for the Node.js. So Node.js framework is amazing, which is AdonisJS. So this is quick slides, but let's once again go back to the AdonisJS.com, and here we have a lot more other informations. The good part about this website or the landing page is it gives you an overview of how you can write the routes and controllers, upload the file, validate the request, write the templates. Also, it has given some amazing first party packages, and this is really the power of AdonisJS, because AdonisJS says that, hey, if you want to use these packages, then obviously you can use it. Otherwise, the framework is really fast, and it has all the things you need. But for some of the amazing things you can do, like with the Lucid is for ORM thing, that means interacting with the database. Then authentication, obviously, to create the API token, doing the authentication things. Bouncer for the authorization, the policies things, and lot more other. And this is the, as I said, the power of AdonisJS. Then you can explore this website more, and if you go at the top, you can get to this learn part, which is learn.adonisjs.com, where you can find the learning resources, but these are not open, these are paid. You need to become the sponsor. So when you go here and click on sponsor my work, the Harminder Virk's work, then you need to just become the member or support him on the GitHub. Then you will be able to log in through the GitHub and unlock this amazing resources. After that, if you really want to have the newsletter, go with the newsletters, VS Code extension you have, and some of the community packages. Whoa, that's cool. Yeah, so now let's start with AdonisJS, and the first thing we always do for any framework is go to the documentation and click on the installation and have this Adonis framework in our system. As you know, we need to start with AdonisJS, but for that we need the node with the version of 14 and greater. So how we can check? Just do the node version. So here I am on my terminal, and I can zoom it for you, and I can check for the node version, which is 18. That means I can good to go. Now it says that if you don't have the latest version, you can download from here, and that's the easy part, you can do easily. But how do we start this downloading or creating new project? You just need to say npm init AdonisJS app at latest. That means we want the latest version of AdonisJS, and then provide the project name. Okay, so I can just copy all this from here, or you can just click here to copy each and everything you have and just paste it. But I don't want to give hello world, I want to say my app. Simple. Okay, so once you start the process, then it will going to ask various things. First, it says you need to install the following packages. Create AdonisJS, because this is the first time I'm running this npm init AdonisJS something, so that's why it's asking. So I say yes. Now it's installing or doing this create AdonisJS app for my system, and after this it will start creating the application, the Adonis application. And now once this is done, then it has started. AdonisJS, very nice looking, this whatever we call it, but it's very nice. Then it says customize project. So what kind of project you really want to create? So there are three kind of projects. One is the API. As we know, we just have the backend, we have the endpoints, we don't have any HTML view things. That's called API, application programming interface. Or you can create the web, the fully web application, which will have the templates, the HTML, everything, and we will go with this one. Then you can also create the slim, as the name suggests, slim, which is the very bare minimum things to run an application, which is obviously useful when you just want to use Adonis, like just for authentication and just for ORM thing, like for very specific thing. If you want to use the Adonis, then you can go with the slim, but we want to learn everything, so let's go with a web thing. Okay, then it says what name you want, obviously my app. Then do you want the ESLint? For now I just skip this one. Then it says configure webpack and core for compiling assets something. By default it's false, so I will keep it as false. And then it says running task. So yeah, it's running the task really. So I think I need to wait, because it says installing dependencies, wait, and doing a lot of other things, so I have to wait. Let's just pause this video and wait for it. Okay, so first process is done, and then I've once again wait. So when I hit enter, it just do nothing, and it create a scaffolding project. It's just doing the same thing. Once again, we need to wait for it. Once the project is created, then we just need to cd into that and run this command. Okay, so let's say cd into my app, then node is serve -- watch, and let's say what it say. Oh, it's going to be served, not server. And then it's building, and congratulations, the first Adonis application is up and running at localhost 3333, 4 times 3. Okay, let's zoom out and just open a new tab, go to localhost 3333, 4 times 3, and it works. Congratulations, you have just created your first Adonis app, AdonisJS app. Then the question comes, how this page is coming, from where this page is coming. So for that, what we can do, I can just kill the server, and I say first where I am. Yeah, I am inside the app. Then I can open this project with the VS Code. So here I am. Here we have the VS Code. This is on the right side, you can see a lot of files, a lot of directories we have. All these things are for our Adonis project, and don't worry about that. We will going to explore each and everything and understand what is the proper use case and how we can get familiar with this thing. But we want to understand from where this is coming. We want to understand the file structure and how this is doing. But before, let's just initiate the git on our project we have created. So git init and then I say git doing all these things and paste it. So this is the first commit I have done for the project for the video number 2 and then I will go to github/bitfumes and I will create new repository, and this is for the bitfumes one, and I say AdonisJS full course 2022, and I just say AdonisJS course. It's a public repository so everyone can access it, and let's just create. So once you have created it, then you just need to click all these 3 commands, copy, and I just want to do one thing, and which is there's no readme. Are you kidding me? So I'm going to create a readme.md, and here I say AdonisJS full course 2022. I can say like it's a bitfumes AdonisJS. Yeah, that's a simple thing I just want to have. So I say add readme file. It's done, and then running these commands so that all the things I can push to the GitHub. Now if I reload this page, you will see everything is here right now. So that means if you want to see the codes I am doing, just go on the commit and you will find the commit name with the video number or wherever you are. Then just you can explore that that repository at that moment only. So if you click there, it's just having the files at that point. Cool, everything is nice, and let's now move to the next amazing thing in AdonisJS. First, we need to explore the file structure of our Adonis project. So start with the package.json because this is the thing where everything starts. So remember, we did something node ace serve, something like that. Can we do this npm run dev? And yes. So I say npm run dev. It's doing the same thing because you can see here it says node ace serve watch. Exactly the same thing. So you can have all these things here, and you can build for the production and start the Node.js server like this. It has some dev dependencies which is going to help you to the development of your application, but have some core dependency which include the Adonis core, Adonis ripple, session, shield, view, and some others. Not much thing, but we understand what it is. Then, since AdonisJS is fully supported with the TypeScript, that means every TypeScript has a tsconfig file. So here we have tsconfig for the TypeScript configuration file. You can edit it according to your need if you have more knowledge of the TypeScript. If you don't know, then you can check out the TypeScript full course on the Bitfumes YouTube channel. Just Google TypeScript Bitfumes, you will get that full course right on your search result. So this is for the tsconfig. Then you have some other files related to different use cases. This is for the test. Then you have this server, which remember we said that node server.js. So this is the server actually which is compiled to server.js at the last, and then this is readme I have added. Then we have env.ts validating the environment variable, which is absolutely important because we need to have all the env. So see, these are the env environment variables we have, and when we put the environment variables here, we need to add it here so that it can be validated. Okay, then ace manifest. So remember, we are using node ace. So what is ace? Ace is a command line tool for this AdonisJS, which is this file, which we are running through the node, but we have some configuration related to this ace. So ace manifest.json is here, right here. Okay, a lot of amazing thing. If you want to learn about that, you can do that. Anyways, so some of the envs for testing for purpose, for example, and that's good. AdonisRC.json. This file is once again really important because it has all the information about your Adonis project. Where is your app? Where is your config? So we have created the aliases for this. So what we need to preload on our Adonis application when we boot or when we start the Adonis application. Where are the provider? What are the providers we have? Then we have where is the meta files, like public files? Where is that? So resources is there, and a lot of amazing things, or all the, I can say, all the information about different directories, how we can connect them, is inside this AdonisRC.json. Okay, then comes this test directory. As the name suggests, it is for the testing purpose. When we will going to write the test, then this file is absolutely useful. The real file is inside this start. So everything start from something. So here we have the start. So here we have this routes.ts. This is where you can define all your routes for your application. So this is the route where we are returning the view, which is a welcome view. Now, where is this welcome view available? So it says render view welcome. So view is available inside this resources, views, and you can see welcome.edge. What is .edge? .edge is a template engine for AdonisJS. Adonis is using .edge, and when I click on this file, my VS Code says that, hey, something is missing for this edge template. We will talk about that later, so I'm going to close it, but this is the file which is returned. Okay, so after this, you can see this is the way we can create the route, but we have a kernel.ts, which is application middleware. So you can define all the middleware if you want to have here, so directly inside this file. Cool. We know what is resource where we have all the templates, all the views available here. Then we have the public file where you can have the assets and images, every other things. Then comes the providers. Providers are, as the name suggests, providers. It provides something for the application. You can define custom providers, but this is the app provider where we have all the things for the life cycle of Adonis. So once again, this is advanced topic. I will not go into the depth of this, but node module, never going to touch it. Contracts is simple. Think about contracts as the you can say definitions of some other type. So it's like a custom type, if you know about the TypeScript. So these are the TypeScript, you can see interfaces defined inside these contracts. No worries if you don't know. Once again, it's not that mandatory. If you are starting, it's an advanced topic, you can skip totally. Then is a real important directory, which is config directory. Absolutely important. You need to consider this directory every time you work on this AdonisJS framework, because first is the app.js where we have all the information about our application. So you can see we can have the app key, which is getting from the env file. Then we can define the HTTP, like all the definitions, like allow, method spoofing, all other different things. You can define it here, cookies and logger actually. So amazing things are here. Then you can define the course policy. If you are working from the front end or have some course related information, then you can put it here. Okay, so shield session is there, shield is there, static hashing, drivers are there. And we will going to spend more time on this config directory on inside all these files. Finally, the command. If you want to create your custom command, you can create that, and it can actually run directly from your ACE. That's again a useful thing. So finally, we have the app where we can define all our controllers thing and all the logic part, the models. Everything will be here once we start understanding about the Adonis. Once again, if you're not getting all these things properly, don't worry about that, because the thing we really want, where this is coming. So this is actually coming from the routes. So you can see it returning view. So what if I just return hello world with the string sign? Okay, so if I reload this application, it says hello world. That's cool. That means this is the file which is responsible for returning something. We are returning view, welcome view, which is an edge file, and here we can see we have all these things. So if I reload this, you can see it says it works. So we can find this it works here, and it works again. So if I reload, you can see it says it works again. Cool. So this is the file which is responsible for doing everything we have here, and let's now continue our work on the Adonis. Now let's start with the routing in AdonisJS, because this is very important. So you need to go into the documentation and go on the routing section inside this HTTP part. So you will going to have all the information about the routing in AdonisJS, but let's first see how we can work it on it. So here we are, and we know the route directory route file is inside this start directory, and we have this route. So just for my convenience, I don't want to have all these things, so I just going to delete all that, and yes, we are here. Okay, so first this is the route, but I want to create another route. So I will say route dot, and I'm going to create a get route. Get route on where? Let's create a news. So what I want here, I want to return something. So I need to say async, or maybe I just say like this, and I say return view dot, and I'm not going any view. I just say good news. Okay, so what's going to happen when I just say /news on my browser? So if I go localhost 3333/news, you can see we are getting this good news. And this is why, because we are returning a simple string. And this is not the end, because we can also return a JSON. So I say content is equal to this. So if I reload, the Adonis is smart enough to convert that into a JSON format, and you can see the response is a proper JSON. That's again a very nice thing inside this AdonisJS. But remember, this is going to be some view. So let's return a view for our /news route. So I'd say view dot render, and I say news / and let's say view. Okay, so we need to create this, and why we are getting this? Because we need to get this view from this thing. And what we get here, we get the context for our AdonisJS request. So we have here, and we can get from this. So first let's try to log and see what we have inside this context. So for now I just return something, and here we have the app running. I reload this, and now I get a lot of things of this context. And what we have here, let's start from here. So HTTP context is having a request, I think similar to we have response. Okay, and here we have encryption, a lot of things, request body, request parameter, and parse URL, context CDX of request, and then we comes with a response, the proper response thing, and after that logger is here, and similar to that we will going to have a lot of other things. Okay, so from this I'm going to get the view. So once we have this view, we can just return this news /view. Now if I go and reload this, first it has a very nice error. Yeah, error is nice because it's giving us information about what we are missing. You know, error is not an annoying thing. Error in programming or in any framework is the way to tell you that, hey, you are missing something. And what something is, when we read this error, cannot resolve with a full path on resources views news view.h. It says this file is not available there, and inside this directory, let's go and see. If I go on the resources views, and yes, it says that inside the view we should have a news directory, and we don't have any news directory, then we don't have this view.h file. So let's create it. So inside this view we need to first create a news directory, and then I say view.edge. It's very important because it's using the edge template. Then I create a HTML markup, and I say good news or happy news. Okay, then I say h1 tag happy news. Okay, let's reload this page once again, and now you can see we are getting this happy news because we are having this edge file which we have defined directly inside this render view render function. But you know, it's having very flexibility in AdonisJS. If you don't want to use slash, you can just say news.view, and this is exactly going to work similarly. And in this way also Adonis can find your view file. And you have seen that we don't have to write the dot edge because Adonis know that if you are talking about the view, that means obviously you have the edge file. Okay, so this is the way we can return a view file. But if you only want to return the view file and you don't want to have any other thing, what you can do actually, instead of having something like this, what you can do, you can define the get, and then after that you can say, hey, I need to render. So render, but it's not coming because we need to change it to on. And when I say like on/news of the route, I just want to render a view which is news.view. Okay, so let's reload this page, and yes, you can see it's working. But how it is working and why we change from get to on? You know, whenever we are returning a view, that's obviously a get route. So that's why it says that, hey, when you have on of /news, just return the view or render this view. In this way you don't have to get this view from the context and don't have to do a lot of other things. That's how it's working. And you can see it's a brisk route, and brisk route is for your help. Okay, so we have seen how we can create a route which is going to return a view. Let's now understand more of the routes in AdonisJS. In any web application, we need more than the get route, like a post, patch, put, delete, and others. So once again, everything is given here inside this routes documentation for the AdonisJS. You can go and check this out. We have this HTTP methods. So if I click here, you can see it says you can create these HTTP methods just like we are doing other things. Now let's create all these things and understand what it is doing. So first, we always need to create a post route to store something and for any other reason. Suppose we have a route for news slash just a post route on the news. So then you will say, hey, this is going to be the same. No, it's looking like a same, but the method is different. So since we have this, then we can create the callback here, and here we can return once again I am post route. Cool. But how we can actually test this post route? For that we need to go to the Insomnia, and here we are. So if I go on the localhost 3333/news and it's a get request, you can see we are getting the happy news because it's a get request. But if we go and say post request on the same route, you can see we are returning something else, which is I am post route, which is coming from this thing. But what we do generally on the post route, we first get something from the post data. So Here you can see we are sending two things like email and the password. So suppose we want to access this, how we can access? So we need to first get the request from here. Let's just log the request here and see what we are getting when we hit this route. So here we are, and now go and click on send. Yes, we have a lot of things inside this request which we are getting from the context, but we are interested in the request body. So what we are sending, I think, cannot resolve something. Okay, that's a different thing. I can just clear this console and send it again so that I have the fresh data here. Now inside this, let's search for Sarthak. And yes, you can see we have a raw request body, request data we have, and request body we have. But how we can access this from the Adonis point of view? For that, you just need to say dot body. And this is the function inside of this request for our AdonisJS. Return the request body object by reference. Now, whenever you want to understand what a function is going to do, just press Control. If you are on Windows, if you are on Mac, press Command and then click on that function. You will land it to the definition of that function, which is here. If you go more, then you can see record is there and a lot of other things. Anyways, we get this point, and now once again clear this console and click send. And you can see we are getting email and the password. That's a really amazing thing. So what we can do, we can destructure from here. I can say, hey, give me the email and the password from this request body like this. Are unused. Okay, no worries. So I can just return my email and the password. Okay, so that's good. And we want to we are expecting that we will get inside this here. So yes, you can see whatever we are sending is coming back here. That's good. But you know, in the post request, if it's a API, that's okay, then you are just returning the data. But if it's a web application, then you need to redirect it to some other places. So first I want to take you to the documentation where I'm getting this. Like you will think that, hey Sarthak, how you know that request body is a function? So for that, you can go on this documentation and go on this HTTP request part, because this is the thing we want, request body. So go on the request, and here you will just search for body, and cool, you get the request body. That's really amazing thing. But remember, we want to say that, hey, do not just return the email and password, do something here and return me back to the, let's say, to this /news get request. So how we can redirect the user? So redirecting part is what? It's a response. What response we return? So here on the HTTP, once again we have response just after the request. So let's search for redirect, and here you have a lot of information about the redirect. You can just redirect back if you are coming from any form kind of thing, or you can say redirect to path, some path. Okay, let's do that. So I say, hey, I want to have response, but from where we are getting the response? Response once again is coming from this context. Response is here, response dot redirect, and redirect, can we just pass it here something? Okay, redirect path. Yeah, I can redirect to /news. Okay, and let's just comment that and go click here, and you can see we are having this happy news, because even though it's a post request, but that request is doing something, and at the last it's redirecting me to the /news. So this is for the post request and how we can get the body and how we can redirect user on this post request. But we have more requested, like put, patch, delete. But on every put, patch, delete, we need the ID from the URL. So let's understand that, and then we will move to the AdonisJS framework. We are still on the routing thing, But we need to create the patch and the delete route, and for that it's very important to have the ID for anything. If you want to have maybe slug, maybe ID, let's work on it. So here we can create a new route called, let's say, patch route, and this is going to, let's say, update the news. So I say news slash the ID of news, and then I can just return the I am patch route. Similar to that, once again, let's try this. And if I say on the patch request for slash news, it's saying not found because slash news and slash some ID. Okay, so now it says I am patch route. But remember, we always need to get this ID so that we can work upon the thing we are creating. For that, just like we have request and response, we can have the params also. So let's just log the params, and since we are not using it, so I can remove so that there will be no TypeScript warning. Okay, so we are having here, and let's clear this and click send, and you can see ID is there, ID 234, whatever we are passing. Okay, so we can just return it like, hey, return me the params. Cool. So once again, clear, send it, and once we send, you can see we are getting param with the ID here. Just like the post request, you can do something, you can update the news, and finally you can redirect the user to the page you want to create. You can redirect back. We will do everything, but just let's understand this. Similar to that, we also have a delete route. Okay, we are doing this ID thing here, but this time it's for delete. And this, since we are doing exactly same, but just the request is changed, it's going to work similarly. But this is for the deleting of the route. But one thing you can see, we have this ID, and ID is having a string. Also, you can see instead of ID, I can say anything like any string, and that's also working. But I don't like this. I don't want to have any string inside the ID. So how I can validate these things? For that, I can take you to the documentation, and it's very important to go into the documentation every time you learn any framework or any programming language. So it's here, and on the right side you can see we have a params matching route parameter. So let's start with the route parameter. Okay, so here we have a route parameter, we are defining it, we are getting it, that's absolutely fine. But you can see one thing is there which I forgot. It says that if I just put question mark, it says that it's not required, it's not mandatory to have the ID. And that's not a big deal, but we are interested in pattern matching. So it says that here we can define like where ID and then a regex or regular expression. If you don't know about the regular expression, just search about the Bitfume's regular expression. I have a 5 or 6 videos on regular expression. Everything is explained very easily, very nicely. You can check that, it's very important. Anyways, let's have this here on our route for the delete one, where ID is 0 to 9 numbers only. Let's try this now, and if I click send, it says not found. But what if I say 234? And yeah, you can see when I give the number, yes, it is giving it, but when we provide any string, it's saying, hey, this route is not available. Wow, this is really useful because it minimizes my error. I have to do the same thing here also if I want. But it's not just that thing. One next issue here we can see is if I provide the number, although it's providing the number, but ID is still in a string form. But Adonis is here for our help. So here you can see when we say the where condition, we can define, okay, match this expression but cast the ID as the number. Let's copy this too and zoom out, go here, and instead of this I can just say, hey, just do something like this. Now I am providing this ID. It's going to be number, but it's always going to be the casting of the number. That means it will be converted to number from the string. And now if I run this, you can see it's not having inside any double quote or single quote. It's a pure number thing. And this is the thing, this is the features which makes Adonis very cool framework to work upon. And I really love these things and really love the way it has making our life easier. Let's move to the next amazing thing in Adonis. You know, AdonisJS is packed with a lot of cool features, even for the very small things, and this documentation is so easy to understand, so easy to go with the flow on this documentation. I really love it. So next thing is, which is very important, is the named route. So before going into the named route, I want to show you a route listing thing, which is extremely important when you want to see what are the routes you have in your application. When your application have a lot of routes, like 100 200 routes when you have, so you can just run this command. So how it's going to be, so remember we have created some of the routes, like we have 1 2 3 4 5 routes. Now I can just say node, let me just do something like this, node, then I say ace, which is the command, list routes actually. Now when I do this, you can see we have very nice information about what are the routes we have, what are the request method we have for that route. So we have some upload and asterisk, which is again from the Adonis. We have not created it, but we have created this one, the slash, then the news for the get, the post for the get, patch and delete for the news actually. Get for the news, post for the news, patch, and all these are here. But I told you that we can name the route. How we can name the route? So here we can search for name, and if I can do multiple searches, and I can find it like this. So here we are, it says that as, so it's calling the route name. Why it is useful? Because sometimes you just want to get the route and you remember the name, but you don't know what exactly you have to do, and this is very bad. So you can create the route by using this technique of make route with the route name. So let's first create the route name, and then we will see what we can do. So I can say as, and this is a news.view, I'm giving the name, and this is for the as of news.create, and this is for as of news.update, and finally this is for as of news.delete. Now this is the way I am using dot notation. You can also say news underscore something, just to have the clarity or consistency in your application. Now if I now hit and say route list, you can see we have the name here. So news.view, create, update and delete. This is amazing because this is going to be useful when we can create the route. Now how we can create the route? So first I say node ace and REPL. So I'm doing this REPL, which is a shell for Adonis. You can do anything from here. So I say route dot make URL from news.view. Oops, something bad happened. REPL. Okay, no issue. I can once again say route.make URL, and I can say news.view. Oops. Okay, so it says, I think not accepting the dot notation. Maybe if I can say underscore. So route.make URL for news_view and run it. Now it says route is not defined. So this is very bad. Maybe I need to import it do I have to do this? So I can import first. Okay, it's imported, and then run it. And so whenever we are getting this kind of error, and make sure when you change something in your application and then you need to go back, like you need to exit from the REPL and then go back once again, and then let's import route and then do this. You can see we are getting it. Now if I want to have the same effect on, let's say, on the update, then what we have to do, once again change it, go back from the REPL, go inside, import it, and now this time I say update, but we need to pass the parameter. So let's say 23. So it says, hey, something is there. ID parameter is not there. So what we have to do, we need to actually pass this inside this array. And now if I hit enter, you can see it's there. You can also pass with a named parameter. So I say ID is going to be 23 and doing the same thing. So this is really good to have the REPL, the shell, Adonis shell we can call it, and also the named route. Amazing feature. Let's move to the Adonis framework. Now we want to show some real news data. And to store that data, we need a database connection. I'm going to use the Postgres SQL. If you want to use the MySQL, you are free to use it. So first thing I will do is I will open the terminal and check if I have the Postgres or not. So I can just say PSQL and can I get the version? Yeah, it's a 14.4. If you don't have, you can install it. It's not a big deal. But how do we connect our Adonis application with our Postgres? So I was trying, so that's why we have this database directory. I don't need it, but it will be created once we start trying. Okay, so first let's go to the documentation. And as I told you, documentation is super easy to understand and documentation is always the king. Okay, so you need to scroll down on the left side, and when you scroll down a bit, you will find this database introduction. Let's go here and try this thing. So first you need to install this Lucid package, which is going to be useful to interact with the database, which provide you the ORM thing, which will be easy to query on the database. Okay, not just query, actually it will do all the management related to the database. So first thing first, let's install this Lucid. Okay, so Lucid is installing. What next? It says you need to configure the Lucid. Once the Lucid is installed in your Adonis project, then you can run this command. So copy this command, and here you can see it's installed and add it to the package.json, but I'm going to run this command. Let's see. This command is asking like which database driver you want to have in your application. I want to go with the Postgres SQL. So let's use the up and down key and then the space bar to select it. And finally, to move forward, just hit enter. Now it's installing two things like Lugzon and PG. These are some database driver. The PG is the driver and Lugzon is, I think, what's Lugzon actually? So let's search for Lugzon. I think it's a time, powerful date and time. Yeah, so it's a date and time library, which is really nice. Okay, next is asking like, do you want to have some instructions? If yes, where you want. So let's give me on the terminal. You can open that on our browser. So first thing you have to do is you need to add this DB connection. Where you have to add it on the env.ts file. So you can see a lot of changes are there. Let's first explore and then we will do all these changes. So first it has added something on the Adonis RC. Remember, Adonis RC is the file where every component is wired up inside this project. So Adonis RC says that, hey, there are some new commands added to the project, and what is the location of that command is inside AdonisJS Lucid build command. So it's related to the Lucid commands. Second thing it has added is provider. it has added new provider for the Lucid, and these are obviously the Adonis core one. Then it has updated for env, we will use it. Then it has changes on the TS config. So it says that, hey, some of the new types are loaded, so you need to load from Adonis Lucid. Okay, finally we have this new database.ts file, which is inside this config directory. Okay, and we will explore that later, but first let's see what is this index. So index is inside this database directory. Remember, I just removed this database directory because I was trying and I had this, but when you run Lucid configuration command, it will going to create some factory thing. What is factory? We will talk about it later, but first let's explore database.ts file. This database.ts file is going to include all the information about your driver connection. So the Postgres is using this PG driver, the npm PG driver thing, and it need all these information from your .env file. Now it has added something inside the .env.example, so we can copy this and go to our .env, which is the real one, and actually already have. Oh, that's good. So Adonis is providing us, so we have all these things and it's required here. Now let's go on the terminal and continue our work. First it says open the env.ts file. Okay, so env.ts file is here at the bottom, you will find it, and here anywhere inside this rules, env rules, we need to add this one. After that it says according to your driver need, you need to add. So we are using the Postgres, so copy all these things and paste it. Okay, so this is finally done, and what next? When everything is done, you need to open the .env file and fill up the details. Now we don't have the database, so what we are going to create, we are going to create a database called Adonis course. Okay, but password is going to be empty and username is my username, which is Sarthak. Let's go to the terminal and start creating a new Postgres database. So how we create? We just need to say create db and then give the db name Adonis course, hit enter, and that's done. How we will ensure that this database is created? You just say psql Adonis course, and if you are not getting error, you will go directly inside this database. You can quit by pressing backslash and q and done. If you want to drop the database, you can just say drop db and Adonis course. Then if you once again try, you can get this kind of error, but we need, so let's create it. Okay, so this is created, but you know, I really want to use the table plus so that I can have all the visuals of these things. So this is the table plus, and inside this table plus, I will go and click on create new connection. I will select the psql and then give the name. So Adonis course is the title, and the user is Sarthak, password is empty, database is Adonis course. Just test it. Green, that means it's done. Let's click on connect and boom, you can see this database doesn't have any table, but we are connected. Wow, everything is done. What next? Once you have done all these things, you have updated the env variable, configuring installation, then you need to run the migration. Now what is a migration thing? So think about migration as the skeleton of what kind of table you want. So to create new table in your Adonis project, or to create new table schema, which we call the migration, you need to use a command. What command is that? You have to run that command, which is you find that command on the schema migration. So once you go on the schema migration documentation, you will find this kind of command which says that node is make migration and the table name. It's going to be exactly the table name you want. So let's see. I say, hey node is make migration, and the migration name is going to be the article. the news article thing. So I say articles. It's very important to make it plural so that table name will be plural. So once I'm done with this, I hit enter and it says that it has created a database migration and some random number underscore articles.ts. This random number is, I think, the timestamp. I'm not sure, but I think it's the timestamp, and this is very useful to distinguish between the different type of migration with the same name. Okay, so since this is done, I can go to this database directory, and inside that I will find a new directory called migrations. Inside we have this file. Okay, so if I just do something like this, you can see it's a something underscore article.ts. Let's open this one, and here let's minimize this. Okay, it says that some of the information, it's a normal class. It says the table name, which is articles. You can change it if you want. So if you want to say like Adonis article or my project article, it's up to you. Okay, so we are here now. This migration file has two functions, or this class has two functions. One is up and one is down. Now, what is the use of up and down? Up says when you run the migration. Running the migration basically means telling to the Adonis that, hey Adonis, I have these schema, these designs of the table. Use this design to create the real table inside the Postgres database. Okay, so this is for the up. But when we clean the migration, we said that, hey, I don't want all the table. So this is going to run, which is going to just drop the table. Cool. But what we need some information inside this articles table, which is like a string thing. Inside that, I want to have a title of our article, news article. Then I also want to have a image. So image path will be inside a string. So I say image. Then also I need the text field, which is actually going to be a long article body or article content. Let's call it content. Okay, so we have created three different type of fields inside this table. I also want to add one more table called string with the slug, but this also going to be unique one. This is unique because I want to use this slug to differentiate between each of the article, because sometimes two article can have same title, but this slug will going to distinguish between them. Okay, enough talking. We have created this table, but how do we have the real table from this table schema or table structure? For that, let's go to the documentation. Once you have created the document, once you have created the migration, then you need to run this command, which is saying that, hey, node ace, like calling the ace thing and telling to the Adonis that, hey, run the migration. So when we use this command, so let's run this. It's going to scan the migrations directory, this directory, and it will find all the migration file, and it's going to create the table if not existed. Okay, so what that mean? See, in our database, we don't have any table here, but if I hit enter, you can see it has ran the migration, this one. And now if I go here, if I reload this application or this table plus, you can see we have 3 tables. Okay, don't worry about these Adonis related tables. This is just for the supporting of our migration thing. Just focus on the articles table, which we have just created through the schema. And see, title, slug, image, content. I can go on the structure and find what are the things. So title, slug, and slug should be unique. So it's not given here, but it should be unique. It has to be. It will be. Anyways, so we have created this table using our migration run. But what if I run this command once again? It says, hey, every table is there. We have selected all the migration, but there is no new migration. how do this Adonis know that there is no new migration? Remember, we have some supporting tables, and this table, Adonis schema, is tracking all the migration which has already ran. So see, it says that this migration is already ran. This means the table is already there. Cool. So this is all about connecting the database and creating the migration. Let's now move to the next big thing in Adonis. Now we have the table, but this table is empty, and I want to fetch the data from this table to show all the articles. So first I'm going to add some random data manually. So first article and first underscore article, image I don't want to have, content is something created with now, and save it. Okay, so data is there, but how do we retrieve or fetch these data? So let's go on our routes. So we go to the start routes, and where we are showing all the news on the /news route. So here we have the /news route, but it's just rendering the view. I want to fetch the data and then return the view. So let's get back with the get part, and then instead of doing something like this, I just say, hey, I need to return a view which is going to be rendered as view dot render, something like this. Okay, so this should be arrow function. Good. This is going to work similarly, but we have to run the node is serve watch, and running absolutely similarly. Now what we need to fetch data from the database. So how do we fetch data from DB? For that, let's go to the documentation, because documentation is always the king. First, you can see on the database section we have the query builder. So let's go to the query builder, and it says that how do we get the thing or data from the database? It says database dot query from, and select what you want. That's easy. Yeah, it's very easy. Or you can also create query builder instance directly by calling from. So I like this one, the next one. So first I need the database. So I say const articles is equal to await of database. We need to import it. Very important, we need to import it. Since we are using await, we need to make sure this is async, and that's the reason we need the async. We don't always need the async. We need the async when we have some await related commands or code. Okay, so database from with a dot sign from, we have the table name which is called articles, and select everything like this. Now instead of returning view, I just want to return all the articles we have. Let's see what's going to happen. If I go on the happy news, reload, and boom, you can see we have the data from our database directly inside our browser. That's good. But remember, we want to show all these articles in this news.view so that I can loop over the data and then show the data. So how do we pass this data on the view? Like basically how we have the data, like I want to have the loop over all articles. So we need the articles. How do we get that? For that, let's see, is there anything? State. Yeah. So render can have a second parameter as the state. But what it's doing and how it's going to really work. Let's go to the database. Let's go to the documentation once again. This time I need to go on the view and template. And here we can find the data flow layout component, I think on the data flow. Let's try this. So yeah, you can see, as I told you, in the second we can pass the state. then how do we use it? So yes, we can pass the article from here, like, hey, I have this articles, but how do we use it? So to use the article, we should see how it's doing. Yeah, so when we have the state, it says that you need to say each, you can just say @each item in menu. So absolutely we are passing menu somewhere. So it's a global menu, and let's see if we have this view.share foo something. Okay, let's try this. So we are returning, reload, everything is fine. Passing articles like this have no issue. So let's go to the view which is inside the resources, news, view.edge, and here I'm going to use the @edge. I think I need to find the edge template, anything related to edge. Edge template is there, so it should give me the suggestion, but it's not doing because instead of typing edge, I need to type each. Whoa, each array. Now how do we do that? I need to say, hey, I have the collections of article and I need the article as articles, and then I can say that, hey, use the h3 tag to show. And how do we show? Yeah, so in this edge we use the double curly braces and then the variable name, or the property name actually. So double curly braces, inside that I can say article dot title. How do we know that title is there? Remember, we have created the title and we know the title is there. Okay, so let's save this and go reload. Unexpected error. It says you don't have the articles. So to solve this, let's go to the documentation and go to the loop, and whenever we pass, first thing, okay, we need to pass in the object field, and then we need to use in, not as. Okay, so it will be like article in articles, and here we need to pass it as a object. Now let's try now. Yeah, you can see first article is there. That's really amazing. We have reached the point where we can show all the data from our database. That's really cool. In my opinion, this is the thing which is making me happy as a developer when we create something. So yeah, so this is how we fetch the data from the database and then show that data inside of our view. But we have reached to the point where you can see this route file is become so messed up. We need to clean it. How we can clean? Using the controller. I told you Adonis is a MVC framework, so model, view and controller. Till now we have only seen the view part. Let's understand about the controllers. So what are controller and why we need it? So let's go to the HTTP. This is on the documentation because I told you documentation is the real thing. So go to the controllers and here. So controller are the de facto way of handling the HTTP request. They are enabled to clean up the route file. As I told you, this is to clean up the route file because route file is messed up. So first thing first, how do we create our controller? Yes, you can create it manually, but we have the ace command to create it. So we can just say node ace make controller and the controller name. So it should be just the name and it will always be prefixed by plural form of the name with the controller word. Okay, so let's create the controller. So node ace make controller, and this time I'm going to create controller for article. It will going to create articles controller. Let's see this. It has created articles controller, but where? App controllers HTTP. So let's close everything, go to the app. You can see we have a controller HTTP articles controller. Now this article controller is just have a normal class. Yeah, that's good, but we can do more. What more we can do? We can just get the help here and see we have two important flags. One is R, one is E. Create the controller with exact name provided, like if you really want the article controller, not articles controller, or something like that. Otherwise, this is the command which is for the R flag, which create the resourceful method. We will talk about the resourcefulness later, but for now, let's move with this kind of structure of the controller. Now, we have created the controller, but how do we connect our controller with our route? So what we have to do, we have to say new controller and whatever the function we will create. So we have to view the articles. So let's create a function. So function called view, I'm going to create it, and it should get me the context. Okay. And what it's going to do, it's going to do exactly the same thing which I have done on our route file. So what we are doing inside this, we are saying that, hey, get the data from the database and return the view. So cut this from here and go on the controller, do it. Now it says, hey, a lot of things are missing. First, it says render is not there because we need to fetch the view from it. Then it says database is not there. So let's import this also. And then it says, hey, constructor, method, accessor, everything, whatever it is. So I think it's not getting view. What is if I say index? It's the same. So something is missing here. Let's see in anything in the controller. Let's go at the top. So here we need to say public async. No need to add the function. So it's not a function, it's a method. So public async view. Cool. Everything is so fine. We are doing it. But how do we tell our route that there is a controller which is going to handle everything? Remember, we just need to say return new and the controller name, articles controller. Call this class, and inside this class I have a view function. I'm going to call it, and I need to pass the context, and this need the context like this. And is this going to work? Let's go see. And yeah, it's working. I'm refreshing the page and it's working. But still, we don't want to do all these things, async and return view. So there is more amazing way of doing it. So see, when you do this, let's go here. This is the one way which we can create the controller and connect with the route. There's another way which is, I think, which should be there. Okay, like this. You can just give the name of the controller, and then after that you need to give the dot notation for the function. I think I need to find it. Oh, it's not given here, but let me show you how it's going to work. Instead of doing all these things, what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove everything, and I just say, hey, there is the articles controller. There is a view file inside that. So dot and the function or the method name. Okay, let's try this. And yeah, it's working again. Cool. So this is the way we can create a new controller. Inside that we can have any other file or any other method which is going to handle all the logic, and now our controller become super duper clean. Whoa, that's really good. Let's move to the amazing thing in Adonis. So till now we have this get route to show all the news articles. So when we say /news, we have the article controller, we are having the view function or method, actually whatever it is, and we are just returning it. But you know, we need a way to create the news or to write the news. That means a post request. So this time I will create another view which is for the create, which will have a form, and then from there we will store a new article on our database. Sounds good. Let's work on it. So first I will go on the resources and views and news, and I can create the new view. But we have the ace command for it. So I can say ace, like node ace, make view, which is inside the news directory, and the name is create. Or I can also use it as a article. So I can change it to article. So this has become article, and we have to change it on here also. It's like article dot view. But now here I want to return the view. So I can get the view dot render of article dot create. Okay, that's good. Let's now go to slash create. But what happened? Remember, we have a post request, but this post request is going to be accessed by the form. So this means we need another new route for a get request of news slash create. Yeah, and this should go into the article controller. So I can say inside single quotes, I can use it like this, article controller dot create, or you can use a store, whatever you want. And I'm going to give this as a name of news dot or underscore create. Okay, this means we need to go to slash news slash create, which is going to give me, actually I need the create. So this is going to be the form. So let's go to the slash news slash create, and it says, hey, articles controller missing the method of create. Let's create this method called create. So once again, let's go here, public async create, and this is going to be the view, which is going to return just view dot render of article dot create. That's good, and it doesn't need anything, so we are good to go. But let's fix this article also. We need to create something inside this edge. So I'm going to create once again, and let's say news create, or create news. Okay, h1 create news, or create article, whatever it is, a news article. So let's reload this page, and it says create article. Good, now we have done this, and one thing is there, you can see it says the dot based separation are deprecated, use slash. So for now this is working, this dot notation is working, but it will be removed in the future. So I'm going to stick with the slash. If I do that, if I reload, yes, you can see it's not having any error. Cool. So what we need to do, we need to create a form here. So create new article. So I can do something like news create, and then create article, and this should have a form, and this form is going to have various things. First, it need an input field for the text as with the name of title. Then we need a text area, which will need as a content, and also we need one input field for the file. So file is there, which will be the image. Okay, everything is good. And finally we need a button of type submit, like here, and call it create. So this is a very basic no style form, and you can see we have this. Maybe we can just add the placeholder article title, and this is the image. This will be having a placeholder of article content, something like that. And yeah, that's looking very bad, but working. So we need to create. When we click on this, it should submit with a post request. So action, I don't know for now, but method is going to be the post. But where this form is going to be submitted, this form will submit on this post request. And remember, we can get the request from here, and we can just get the request body, and I can just actually return the request body directly so that we can see what we will get. Okay, so we need to submit on the /news. This is important. So action is going to be /news. Good. So let's reload. We don't have anything here. Click on create. Yes, you can see we are getting title, image and content. Go back, reload. If I write something, if I select any image, let's select any good image. So let's use, I don't have any image. Wow, very nice. I have image. So click and you can see we are having the data here. Cool. This is good. But now what we need to store these data in our database and then redirect user to the articles where we have all the articles like that. Let's see how we can do that. We have this super ugly form. Yes, I know, and we want to make this work. Okay, so first thing is how this post request is going to work, and for that I will go to the view and template. Here we are. There should be something for form. I need to find the form where I can submit the form thing. So is there any form here? Okay, maybe I can search directly here. So form, validating server side form, no validation, create form, validation form method spoofing, related to something, it's on the debug. Okay, so I can't find that here, but I can find one thing, which is route. So why I am going into the route thing? See this, whenever we have the action, instead of hard coding the action like this, we can get the benefit from the name of the route, and we can just use that name. Either we can use something like this, or we should have some other way of getting it. So maybe I can use the route with the name. Let's try. I don't know is this going to work, but I can say, hey, I can use this, and I say route. Inside route name is, first let's change this to news.store, not create, it's storing, and then I say news.store. Okay, reload this page, and now let's inspect this element, and you can see very nice, we have this /news added, although we are just using the route name. One thing maybe you can see here, if you can find, this doesn't have any CSRF token. So let's add the CSRF token, and why we need it we will see when we search for CSRF web security. And now it says CSRF token is cross-site request forgery. It's an attack that tricks user of the web app to perform form submission without their explicit consent. Basically, if any trick or any way which can submit the form without any user or from any other way, it can do that. But we can we can actually remove this, or we can protect this attack by using the CSRF token, which is going to validate that this form is submitted only from the website you have added this form. Okay, because the CSRF token is a random thing which can be only generated by the Adonis, and no other people, no other framework will know what kind of CSRF token we have to create. Okay, so how do we add? We just need to add this field on our form, and it will do all the magic. So here we have the form, paste it, and this will do the magic. So if I go reload the page, and this time, okay, CSRF field, what happened? Is not a function. Why it says it's not a function? This is because we first need to install this shield package, and let's do that. here shield is installing. Then we need to configure the shield. It says you need to run this command to configure it. Let's copy this command once again. Not once again, it's the first time I'm copying this command. The shield is installed. Let's run this, and it says where you need the instructions. Let's open this time in the browser. So it says go to the kernel.ts file and register these two things at the start of the array. Okay, this is very important because we need to go on the start kernel, and we should see we have this named register named. It's not named, it's just register. So we should find another one. Yeah, so we have the body parser, but along with that we need the shield. Okay, so shield is there. This means if I now close this browser tab and reload this, yes, you can see we are not getting error, and we can have another new input field of hidden, which is obviously hidden. Name is underscore CSRF and having a random value, which is going to protect our form from any cross-site forgery. Okay, so this is the way we can add the CSRF token, and we can add the named route on the action part. But as we know, we really need to handle the request, store the data in the database. Let's do that. Now form is ready and we need to submit the form here inside this. But as I told you, everything should be on the controller side. So let's move or convert this route to the controller, like handled by the controller. So route.post, and this is going to be /news, and then I say article controller dot store, and as of news underscore store. Okay, that's done. So I can just remove everything, and now we have very nice little routes. We can go on the controller. I need to open the controller, and then I can create another method, public method. Hey, I don't want any notations, and name is store, and it should be async because we are going to do some waiting task, which is storing the data into the database. Okay, then finally we need the response. Why we need the response? Because at last we need to redirect user. So return response dot redirect, something like that. Return, oh, I forgot, how was that? Response dot redirect. Okay, so response dot redirect to where? To back. So I can say just back. Okay, so this should work. This, whenever we submit the form, we should be not redirected to, yeah, redirected to back. Good. So let's try this. We should redirect it back to the same page. Click create, and you can see we are redirected back here on the same page. Now that's good, but what we need the request so that we can get the request body. So I'm going to return request like this dot body, and see if we are getting everything or not. Yes, we are getting CSRF token. Other things are empty. Good. Since we have this, why don't we destructure the thing we need, like the title, content, and the image. Once we have this, we can just use the database dot, and this time I need to insert. So do we have the insert query? Yeah, but I don't know what next we have to do. Like, do we need to store or save? What we have to do? So for that, I will go to the documentation. On the database part, let's go to the database part. Yeah, query builder. In the query builder, we should see select is there, query builder reference guide is there. Good one. I want this. So query builder. Hey, I was on the query builder. is the same. No, it's not the same. This is something different. It's on the reference. It's reference. This one is the guide. Very important. So on the reference, we can see we should have the select. From here, we can find we need the store. So insert. Where is the insert part? So here we are. Update is there. Execute query first is pagination helpful, and we are not able to find it. Let's get back here. Maybe I can just search for insert or save. Let's search for insert. Okay, so this next one is there, insert query builder. Wow, very nice documentation. So database insert query, and after that we need to select the table. Okay, database table, and how it's going to work. Database table is this, returning what we want to return, or finally we say insert these things whatever we have. Cool. So I say, hey database, select the table which is articles table, and then insert some of the things. What are the things? Insert title, oops, then content, then image, and that's it. Wow, cool. So once we have this, we can return back and it should be done. But remember, this has to be await one. How I can write await? Yeah, like this. I think this is done. Let's go and try to create new article. So I say another article, choose a file which should be this one, and this is the content. Click on create, and now it says, hey, insert into articles values something something, duplicate key, violate unique something, whatever it is. Okay, so let's go on the table plus. But maybe we can also do one thing, like we need the slug. So slug will be, let's say, ABCD, ASDF this time. So let's go back and click on create, and you can see this time is successful. And now let's go to the table plus, and we should see another entry here. Image is 1.jpg and some content. Created at and updated at is not there. We will see how it will be filled, and we will see how we can create a proper slug. Everything will be there, but congratulations, because we are able to do this. We have created it. But remember, whenever we complete the transaction, we need to notify user that everything is fine. Also, we can go back to /news and we should have 2 articles which is there. Wow, that's really good. And we are doing all these things like here. But one thing is there, if I am not giving anything, you can see it says still it says, hey, article slug unique. First thing is it says that slug always has to be unique. So if I change the slug, click on create, it has created, but this time all the data is empty. You can see title, image, content, everything is empty. We don't want this kind of data, so let's remove this, and let's work on all these things one by one. Now this time we need the validation, because I don't want to submit the empty content here. For that, we need to go to the, once again, documentation. Here we have the validation section, and let's click on the validator introduction. So how do we create a validation? So whenever we have the request, we can say that, hey request, validate, and we need to provide a schema for that. So schema, we can create something like this. So we say that, hey, I'm going to create a schema. So we need to import the schema from validator. And when we say that schema create, we need to pass an object of each field. And then we provide the schema, what is the data type first. Okay, so let's work on this one first, and then we will move forward. So we have our store method where we have request. So first thing is going to be like, how do we get it? Okay, so we get the payload. So let's call this as payload and insert the payload, but it will be like payload, and I need some slug also. So slug is going to be the payload dot title. Okay, now it's not going to be the request body. We will say that request dot validate like this, and this should be await and await, and then we provide the schema and we can call it anything. So let's call this schema. So const schema is equal to, and I think I need to say create article schema. So it should be like create article schema. Schema is equal to create article schema. So let's create schema. So first I need to import the schema. So schema, but this should be from the validator. So let's copy this thing, this line, and go at the top, import this one, and then we can say schema dot, and we need the create part. Now inside this create, we need to say, hey, there's an object for each field. So first the title is going to be the schema dot string. Okay, then I say content is also going to be the schema dot string, and finally image is going to be, for now it's going to be a schema dot string, although we will see how it's going to work. Everything is done, and now let's try. So whenever we are doing all these things, let's go and click on create without filling anything. It has done something. So you can see we are not having any transaction here on the database. We don't have any error here inside our file. That means validation is working. Okay, so we have this validation, but how do we actually get the errors? So for that we can see here, let's search for error. Yeah, so whenever we do the validation, if that validation fails, we can catch it with the response of bad request. So here we are doing the validation. We say try with this thing and then catch with the error, and then I say response dot bad request. Is this going to work? Not sure about that, but I think we need to do all these things inside of this try thing. Okay, let's try once again. Is this going to work? So everything is good. Create, and we get these validations. Whoa, that's really cool. But we are not getting this. We don't want to get the validation directly like the JSON. We want the validation with this response redirect. So how do we do that here? Actually, we don't need to do any try catch if we are building a web application, because when we do this redirect back, it will send all the error if we have it. So we can just remove this try catch once again, and this time I want to show the errors, and we will show the errors on this edge file. But how do we show the error once again? Let's go here and see. It says that whenever you are using a web application, standard a server render app, which is web app we call it, we can use flash message. So copy this one, and then we can just after this input field I say, hey, this is for the title. So like if error dot title is there, then oops, then we can say if error for image is there, image, and if there is error for content. Okay, that's good. Let's try this. Get back here, reload, click, and yeah, you can see everything is there. I can make this everything inside a div, but that I will do later. But for now, everything looks good. So when we do this, we have the validation failed. Okay, so this is how we create the validation and we show the error. But the point is, I don't like to have all these schema for validation here. You know, the controller should be only responsible for handling and moving the task. It should not do actual things. But in our controller, we are doing all the things. We are validating, we are checking for validation, we are storing, and we are redirecting back. So the first thing to clean this controller we can do is we can move this file into a dedicated validator file. How do we create? Remember, we have the node ace command. Node ace make validator, and what is the validator name we are going to call? Create article. Let's create it, and it has created inside the app validators create article validator. Okay, go to the app validator create article validator, and here you can see schema.create. Inside this we can put all the things we need, like here, paste it, save this file, and now instead of create validator schema here, I can say, hey, schema is create article validator. Cool, everything is so easy here and it should work. If I go reload this page, click, oh, it says cannot convert undefined null object. Whenever we have some issue, let's go to the documentation. And now on the documentation on the right side, we should have standalone validator usage. So you can see it says you need to create this validator and validate something. We can create the validator class, something like this. We have created it. Then it says that all these things are there. Is it true? So first we are getting the context. That's good. Schema and error. Now how we can use it? Oh, we don't have to say schema something. We can just pass the validator name. So we can just say, hey, this is just going to be the create article validator. Okay, so let's get back here and click on create. You can see validation is working. So great, and this is how we create the validation. But on the validation we can provide various other things, like if you want to have this validation for the title, and maybe if this title has an email thing, then you can say you can define some rules here. So inside this string, maybe I can show you somehow at the top. Yeah, so this is the first, we define the type, and inside this, as a second parameter inside this string, we define the rule. So if we have any rule, we can add it. Okay, let's see what we have on the Adonis framework. See you in the next video. So we have view, we have create, we have store. Let's work on the update part. So when we go to /news, we see all the articles. So here we can have a edit button, which should actually give us the form to edit it. But before that, what I want? Bootstrap. Yes, I'm using Bootstrap because I want to use it. I'm using Tailwind. I'm really fan of Tailwind, but let's try Bootstrap. It's another old good things we have in our mind. So we have some CDN links for this one. Copy this and we can paste it somewhere. So let's close it. Go to the resources, articles, view, and inside view this we have a meta, and we need to create a CSS tag which is for the link style sheet, and same style sheet will be on the create part. And I know what you are thinking, we are repeating ourselves. Later on we will see how we can extract these into the partials or the layouts. We will do that. Now after adding it, you can see things get changed. Okay, so let's design this little bit. What we have, we need the navbar first. So first we can go to the form. No, not the form. Navbar. Yes, we have the navbar. So we can get this or any kind of navbar. So navbar, yeah, like this one. Copy this, and we should have the navbar here. So let's copy and paste this navbar here, and let's see how it's going to look. Good, this navbar is nice, and I say happy news. The app we are creating is happy news, so I say happy news, reload. Yep, that's good. Then home, and then create, the two button I need. Home is I need and say news, and then I should say create. Okay, like this, and wow, two links. Next, I don't need this happy news, and then finally we need to have the cards for the title. Now let's search for the card. Here we have the card. So let's go on the card part, and we should have an image, then title, and then text, and read more. Wow, that's so easy card. But I should find another cards, but that one is good. Cool. Let's copy this card and have this card here. So card says that some image will come here, so I will say article.image. okay, and here I should have article.title, title, like this, and then on the title part I say article.title. The text will be article.content, and this one is read more ... Super easy. And yeah, we have this, but it should be on the grid. So how I can make it on a grid level so that we can have a very nice card. Yeah, so something like this, but it should have some spaces. So maybe I can find some other. Yeah, this one is good, looks good. So here we are. Here we have the from the call, like this one. So I can move it here and close the div like this and try it. Yeah, that's good. Once again, and on the div for the card we need a div for call. So div.call, and like this. It should format, but it's not formatting. Format anything. I don't have any format for edge. Anyways, it's working fine. Good. We have two articles. We need the container once again. So a lot of things. Div.container. So let's have the container here. Yes, it's good. And one final thing for the container, I need the margin top of 4. Yes, so this looks good, and we are having this, but remember we need to replicate this nav same thing on our create one, because when we go on the home, the news is for /news, but create will be /news/create. Remember, we can just use the form, which we can use the route name. So I can say news_create, and similar I can use here news_view. okay, that's good. So click on view news, we are on the same page. Click on create, we should go here, but remember here we need the nav. So now we are repeating ourselves. If I go here and if I say this thing, you can see we are repeating. I don't want to repeat myself. That's why I will take the help of this documentation, and on the documentation I will go to the view and template. Let's do that. To minimize the repetition we have on our HTML on the template, edge template, we can go to the views template, and we have two options. One is partial, one is layout. So what is partial? Partial says that you can extract some of the repetitive task on a file and inside the partials directory, and then you can include that wherever you want. So we want to have the navbar repetitive one. So why don't we create a partial? So I say partials. Inside that I say navbar dot edge. Now I will move the navbar we have here. So cut from this and paste it. Okay, so this is here, and I need to include it. So I say include, and the name is my navbar. Now Adonis will already know that this navbar will be inside the partials. Is this going to work? Okay, so I need to pass partials. I thought it should get, okay, anyways, so it has to be inside the partial, but you can name it anything. Since we are providing the name, that means we can name it anything. But let's see, is this working or not? So go to the news, and yes, it's working. So why don't we do the same thing on our view part? So remove this and paste it. Okay, so you can see create and news, both pages have the navbar, and we are including this navbar using this. But this is the way we can add it, and we can also add any footer if we want. Go to the Bootstrap, and we can find the footer like this. Not this one, not this one, not this one, this one, this one, not this one, not this one. Where is the footer? Where is more footer? So it doesn't have the footer kind of things. I think it should have it, but it's not giving me any footer. So anyways, let's leave the footer thing. So anyways, we have this thing, but remember we also have one layout thing. So I was trying to create the footer, but I was not able to find on the Bootstrap, but I can create a footer.edge. Okay, now what should I do on this footer.edge? I can just have a simple maybe a card or a simple like a bar kind of thing. I can find that footer inside this examples. I was thinking somewhere we should have it. Footer is there. Let's go on the example, and we have a lot of footers. So I like this one. But how do I get the code? Hey, this is cheating. This is full on cheating. How do I get the code? Hey, this is not good. Download source code. Okay. Is this going to download everything? Download examples. Is this going to download everything? No, I don't want these kind of things. I want just the code directly here. Hey Bootstrap, this is not good. So I need to cut from here. So I should see like this is a footer part. I can just say edit as HTML. This is stealing the code. So I can paste it directly here, and it says 22 Bitfumes Inc. And I need to include that footer on our, where's that? On our view. So footer should be at the last. So I say include footer inside the partials. So partials, and remove like this. So let's see. So on the news, yes, you can see we have this footer. Similar footer we need on the create. Now you can see we are once again repeating ourselves. Even on the include part, we have to include these nav and the footer on every page, which is not good. Is at this point we need to move, like not move, we need to transition from partial to layout. And then on the layout, what we need, we say that hey, layout, which whatever name you want to give, and inside the layout you can say that hey, whatever I'm here, create a section where I can push anything. If you're not getting it, let's see how it's going to work. So I will create a layout directory. So I say layouts slash app.edge, or you can call it main.edge, whatever you want. Then I have to create something like this, and then all the markups, see all the markups, not just the main part on inside the body, all the markup I should have here. I say happy news, and then I say here it's going to be a section of content. Okay, so section of content, that means whenever I extend this layout, everything should be here. How it's going to work? So I will open my view.edge, and whatever I have inside the body, I can cut, remove it, and then I say extends, and extending layouts dot main, and then paste it. Now see, it says layout, and actually it's not extend, it's layout. So layout is layouts slash main, and then we have a section block of content, and then paste it. Now let's try this, reload, and nothing is there. Something bad happened. We need to see here set title, we will see that later. Section is end, section is good, but it's not end section, it's just end. Let's see, something is not good. Layouts slash main, so we have layouts main, that's good. Layouts main, section is content, section is body. Here we can call the body, go to the layout, where's that main, let's call this body, let's call this also body. Okay, something is there, that means we can see happy news is there. Oh, I forgot to add all the markups we have. So basically this link, the Bootstrap link, we need to add in this main layout. Once we have this, you will see everything is fine. Cool. So similar to this, we can do the same thing on the create. So like here, and instead of body, I can just say end, which is ending the section. So create is also having this, but now this time we have two footers, nav bars. Why is that? Because this is the good, this is the bad part. Okay, good. Now everything is there, but last thing is we can move this including of navbar into the main. So main is there, above this body we need the navbar, and below this body we need the footer. So with this kind of structure, we never have to import or include this navbar or footer anywhere in our application. All the views or all the edge file which is extending this layout will going to have everything by default. Okay, so news, create, news, everything is there. Cool, fine. Now let's move to the next big thing in Adonis. And now you can see this is a new design, and I have just used the Bootstrap and nothing else, because this is a course for Adonis. I don't want to waste your time on the designing. I took 1 hour just to design all these things. So you have seen I have nice little title, then summary, and then we have all the articles, the news articles. If I click on this one, happy news, we will land on the default page of AdonisJS, but with the navbar, which I used with the include thing, and then all news, and then create is now have a little nice form. Okay, so everything is good. Now let's get here, and what we need the edit section. That means when I click on the edit, it should move to the new page with all the things added already there, and then we will going to edit the form and then update it. Let's see how you can do that. First, we can see we have this view, and it's now new for you, but we have this button called edit, which is, you can see, this one. Okay, now what we will do, when I click on this, I just want to navigate to the new page. So that page will be having with the anchor tag. So I say this is a anchor button. Okay, so maybe what I can do, instead of having a button, I can just have a anchor tag. So for this one, I can have an anchor tag and then href something. Okay, is this looking good? Okay, it's okay. I need to say edit here. I just removed that. Now it's same, but it should redirect me to some other page. Now we are using each loop. That means we have the article. If we have the article, we should have the article slug. Every article known by its slug. Okay, so we should use that slug here inside this, and we should create a route which will be like news underscore update. Do we have it? Let's see on the routes directory, routes file actually. And yes, we have a news update, but it's just going to update it. We need a page with a get request with a view returned for just edit. So instead of this, I can say news.edit. This is the page where we should move the user. So we need to create that one. So let's do something like this. So route.post, it's a get actually, and this will be news. But after that, we need a dynamic URL. So this will go once again to the articles controller dot edit, and we call this as news underscore edit. But how we can define? Is this like a slug thing or what? Let's go to the documentation, and here we should find something on the routes part. So HTTP routing is there, and we should say there is maybe on the patch request, so something like that. So patch request with colon and the ID, or in our case it's a slug. That's good. So we have this get request, and we need to create this edit method on our article controller. So let's go and create method public async, and if we don't want async, that's okay. This is going to be the edit. This will get me the view, and this just return view.render of article slash edit. Okay, so this just like this, or just like this, we are returning the edit. So if I go here on the happy news, and it says, hey, slug param is required to make the URL. Now what happened here, you can see the name of this route is news underscore edit. This route need the slug when we create the route using the route function. So after this, we need to pass the slug. So it will be like article dot slug. But remember, this has to be inside an array. Okay, so that's good, and we are here. Now if I click on edit, you can see it's moving me to that news slash the slug of the article. Okay, so here we should see something slug, and then we can call it edit. That will be a good route. So, and now you can see news, then slug, and then edit. Okay, so we need the edit. So we can say node is make view news slash edit. Okay, that's good. So we have the news. Oh, actually we need inside the article. Okay, so let's remove the news one, and we have the article edit. Now just like before we are doing, we need to extend this, so I can copy all the thing from create to the edit, because it's going to be the exactly same just instead of create, I need to say update. So this is going to update this article, and this is not going to be the store, it's going to be on the update part, and it's not going to be the post method, it's going to be the patch method. But you know, we don't have the patch method in HTML forms, so how do we create or send the patch thing and tell Adonis that hey, I want a patch? But before that, you can see we have this route of update. Let's go to the route, and here we have the update, and let's make this update one or the patch route cooler. So it's now become cool when we move this into the article controller. So everything will stay the same, just here dot update, and it's going to be the slug. Okay, maybe I can just do something like this. I don't know if this is good, then why we are touching it. Okay, now let's go to the article controller and let's create public. It's going to be the update, and we do something here. Okay, so just like before, this route also need the slug. So how do we provide the slug? So we know that we need to say article.slug, but we don't have the article. So you know, this controller is having this view, plus it should also have the params. This means from the params I can find the user, the slug. So I can say I need the slug from params. Okay, and then I need to find the article. So const article is equal to database dot, now I need to find it. Is there any find? No. So first I need to say table is articles dot, is there any find or fail? No. So let's go to the documentation. We have the query builder, and we need to query first. So from where, this where condition, is there any find? Let's just search for find. Okay, so there's no direct find method, so we can use the where condition, where some slug is going to be the slug provided by the params. So where something something, that's good. So I say from, it's the table name database from, and then dot where the slug is going to be the given slug. Now we have the article, we can just provide the article like this. When we do something like this, we can see if I reload, it says slug param is required, slug is not provided. Okay, so what we can do for now, I can just remove this so that I can debug it. Okay, that's good. And now I can just say article.title. Do we have the article? We don't have the article. So for that, we need to go to the controller and just return the article and see what we are getting. Okay, so we are getting the article, but you can see it's inside the array. We need only one from here. So is this like, I can say first? Yeah, there is a first. This will give me the first element of the array, which is this one, and that's how it's going to work. Yeah, you can see it's still undefined. That's not good. So once again, return article. So it should have the title, it should have the slug. That's good. We are passing it, and is this the correct way to pass? Yes, this is the correct way to pass to any view. So we have the title, we can have the slug also, but it says undefined, which is strange. Maybe I can see, oh, it's a promise. Remember, we have to do await here, and since we are doing await, we need to make it async. Great. Object. That means I can now do all the slug part and then update article, and this time we want to autofill this input field, which will be like article.title, and similar to this we need to autofill the text area, and we don't want anyone to autofill something like image because that's a different thing. It's not difficult, it's a different. Okay, so we are having here, and that's, you can see it is auto-filled. Very nice, but it should be not the title, it should be the content. Yes, it's there, but why we have this? So that's because of some extra spaces. Whoa, that's really amazing. We have created an edit form with the help of Adonis, and you can see it's so clean and clear. Everything is very nice, and the route file is becoming very smooth, clear, easy to read, easy to update. And we will also going to make this very short by using the resource in the later episode. But finally we need to really do the update part. Let's see in the next episode how we can do that. Now let's do the real update part here. So this is going to update. So this should be update, not the create. Let's go to our edit form and let's change it to update. Now remember, this update route is a patch request. How do we do the patch thing? So here we are, it's update, and now we need to go on the form where we can send the CSRF. Maybe is this a CSRF? No, it's not the CSRF thing, but form method spoofing. This is the one. Method spoofing we need. We just need to say question mark on the action, whatever the action is, question mark underscore method is going to be the put or patch. We should also have another way of sending this patch request, but method spoofing is only this. Method spoofing on the request. This is good. Method spoofing we have on the validation from the server side. This is the only thing we can do. So on the action part we need to say question mark underscore put. Basically we need another field. So just like we have added the CSRF token field, you can see CSRF token field is there. We can do the similar kind of effect here. How do we do that? First, let's go to the form. Here we have the CSRF. Just after this, I can create an input field, which is going to be the hidden one, but the name is underscore method and the value is going to be the patch. That's it. This is the way we are going to tell to Adonis that, hey, this is going to be a patch request. Okay, so that's done. And now let's go to the article controller. Here we are, and let's return something so that we can verify we are on the good path. So let's just click on update. It says news article post cannot found. So it's asking for the post, but we should give it as a patch request. So how do we do that? Let's go on this, and it says method spoofing is something like this. So we can do exactly similar. So let's remove it from here and do the question mark underscore method with the underscore, and I say it's a patch. We can call it with a capital patch, and good. Let's go back, reload this page and submit. Still we are not having it. Why? Because it says that, hey, you need to allow method spoofing from your app.ts. So go to the config app, and here we have on the file line number 51 method spoofing. Make it true. That's good. And this time if I go reload, click, and yeah, we are here. This is coming from this update part. Now, just like before, we need the request, and also we need the response so that we can redirect user to the back, not to the back. What's the to the back? response dot back, and that should give us some information. And instead of back, maybe we can say redirect response dot redirect to, let's say, whatever is the slug. Okay, so we will first need the information about the params. So first we should have the params where we can find the article. So article is here, and do we need the article really? So first we can say that params.slug, we get the article, and then we need to update this article, or so we don't need it right now. We first need the updated fields. So payload is equal to request dot validate. Yes, you can create a new validation, but we will use the same validation because it's just a normal thing which should restrict the empty fields. After this, we can say, first we have to say async. After this, we just need to say, hey, await of database dot is there any update, but first say from articles dot update, and updating the payload. Is this true? I don't know. Let's try. I don't need the params. Okay, everything is fine. Let's try. Go back, and I say article updated. Click on update, but before that we need to redirect the user to the, let's say, first we will go back. So I say it's updated one. Click on update. Going it's moving back, and now it's saying that, hey, we need the image. So it's asking, so we need to create another validator, or we can go on this validator and say that, hey, this image is nullable. I think we need to say here nullable rule. I'm not getting it, so I need the help from this documentation, validation, and nullable. So how do we define the nullable thing? So string dot nullable. So directly we can say it's nullable. No worries anywhere, like here. Once we do that, we can once again try update, click, and nullable validation failed. So it something is bad. Okay, this is not okay. So it should be optional. Maybe say optional. I can find nullable and optional. So I can say just and schema optional instead of nullable. Optional. Okay, one more, and we should see that update. Response is not function. Okay, so response is not a function because I think I need to do something like this. Yeah, response redirect back. So response dot redirect dot back. Cool. So let's get back. It's already updated. You can see updated second time. Click on update. Yes, it's updated. You can see I'm here. If I go, you can see title is updated, really updated. So, but the problem is we have not added any slug or where condition. So it has updated all of the articles. So it's a very bad thing. So we first need to say from, then where condition dot where the slug is going to be the params dot slug, and then update. So let's have the param destructured from here, and now only updating this one. This is second article, update it. Yeah, it's updated, and only updated the second article, not the first one. So I can remove all the update thing. Cool, all article, yeah, it's there. And this is how we do the update part. Final is for the delete, and then we will work on the image upload. Nice. Now the final part is to delete the article. So we have this delete button on our view edge. So here we are, and the delete. So once we delete, we actually need to submit this as a form. So we need a little form here, and once again this is going to be a post request, like a post form, and this form is going to include this button, and this button is going to be a submit button for this particular form, and then action is going to be the route of news underscore delete. Okay, and similar to this, it also need the slug. Okay, and remember, we need the method spoofing. So we say underscore method is going to be delete. Now everything is fine, and we should try it. But if I go, it says, hey, delete is not an identifier. Go to the route, and we need to create a new one, and this is going to be similar to this. Delete with a slug, and it's for destroy, maybe I can call it, and then delete. Now let's see. Yeah, everything is good, and if I click on delete, it should delete, but it should go to the destroy method. So do we have the destroy method on this controller? No. Let's create it. Public async destroy, and this is also going to get the params. And first we need to fetch the article, so copy that one, fetching the article from params.slug, and we get the article, and then we need to delete it. So how do we delete? Go to the query builder and search for delete, and delete. Yeah, so from something where delete, so we can directly do the delete instead of just getting it. Delete, and once this is done, we can say return response dot redirect back, and this is a normal response coming from here like this. Okay, this should be very easy, so I can go back here, click on delete. It also needs the CSRF token, so we have to say CSRF underscore token, or actually it's a field like this. Reload. Oh, so maybe I can find it on the create, like this, not underscore. Good. Reload, click on delete. It's deleted. That's really great. So create, let's click on create, second article, and something, choose an image, click create, it's created. Go to all news, it's there, and yes, we can easily delete it. So this is how we can easily delete. But remember, we have a single controller which is responsible for all of the CRUD related thing, and this CRUD is a resource related thing. All the routes are CRUD related routes. We can minimize all our work. And one thing is there, I can just convert this to like this, so that it will just do the rendering of welcome page, and yeah, like this. So that's it for this one, but now let's work on the resources things. we can make our life easier with the resources thing inside the route, also inside the controller. How it's going to work? So first thing first, if I go on the documentation, searching for, hey, why it's not searching? Search for resource. Now, when I go on the resource section, not this resource, I'm talking about the resource route. Hey, I think this is having some issue. Resource routes and controller, this one. Now, whatever we have done here, when we try to say node is list routes, you can see all the routes are here, but because we have manually created each and every route. But using this route resource thing, we can create all these routes with just one line of code, which is like this. How this is going to work? Let's do this. So see, we have all these lists. I'm not going to clear this, but I'm going to just comment this like here, and then I say route dot resource, and then I say this resource need news, and then the controller is article controller. That's it. Just by doing this, if I now list all the routes, you will see I have similar kind of routes. So we have upload the news, then news create, news create, then post request with news, then we have one for visit a single news, which we have not yet implemented. We will do that later. But then to edit, we have edit one, then update, delete, everything is there. Yeah, we are using Slug here. They are using ID by default. Maybe we can change this behavior somehow, but this is looking really good. Now this is for the resources route, but you can also create, when you want to create a controller, then let's say I'm creating a controller. If I get the help, you can see there is the R flag. So if I say R and if I create this controller, you will see the magic happen inside this test controller. See, all these functions is readily available here inside the controller. You don't worry about what you should name the controller, controller methods, and what you should do on that. Everything is there. So this is about the resource routes and resource controllers. But suppose you are not creating a web application, you are creating a API. Then instead of just saying this as a resource, is there any API resource? No, but I think we can call it API only function over it. What happened with this? When you list the routes, you will see we are not having the routes which are just for loading the view, loading the HTML. We just have the CRUD for all the functionalities, but not for the views part. But as I told you, this ID is not the thing we want. So how do we change it? When you have the doubt, go to the documentation. This is really important thing. So I told you I need to go on the resource controller and routes. When you scroll down, you can see one is you can name it. So let's talk about name after this. But once what happened today? Once I fix the parameters, so there should be, here we are. So see, we can change the params by using param for, and we just need to say, hey, I need the params for, it will be for news, it will be the slug. Okay, so let's try this once again. And now this time you can see instead of ID, I have slug now. This is really cool. But remember, we have all the news index, news create, and news destroy, update, all these things. But remember, if you want to change the name, you can change the name by calling, once again, as function. So if you click, if you provide as, I think I'm not able to do this, but I have to. So anyways, so if I just say as articles, now you will see the change in the name, and every name is now have articles dot something. So this is the way we can clean up all our routes, and everything is gone. So you can see, if I can compare all the names, I have news.index. So it is using dot notation, although when we are trying on the REPL, dot was not successful. So that's why I used the underscore, and I think we don't have a way to change the dot notation to underscore notation. So I think we need to keep this one. That means wherever we are using this underscore thing, we need to change it. How we can change? I just select this and open the global search, and wherever I am using it, I just convert this to news.index, and this will be news.create. That's good. Then let's search for create. Is there? No, because we just have changed. So this will be news.store. And what about edit? So is this edit? Yes, edit is there. So we need to change it to dot edit. What about update? Dot update. And what about delete? It's going to be the destroy, not the delete. So news dot destroy. So I can change it like here. Okay, so everything is now updated, so I can easily remove everything from here, and now you can see this route file becomes so clean. Final test we can do by going here. You can see it says something is missing. Maybe the route is not there. I can just restart the server and go here, go on all news. All news is having some issue, can't find module article. Okay, so this is articles controller, not article controller. So articles controller. Okay, reload. Now it says there's no index method. Yes, because we have previously used the view, not the index. So let's have the index method, and yeah, it's working. So if I click, it should go on the edit. Now it says reading slug, cannot read property of null. This is happening because you can see the slug is incorrect. Slug should not have a space here, because if I go on this one, you can see it doesn't have any slug and it's working fine. So we need to fix it, and that means we need to work on the slug thing. When we store any article, we are having this slug just as similar to the title. But what we need to remove the space and change it with the hyphen. So we can just say dot replace. I think how I do it. So let me just try replacing space with the hyphen. Let's try this one. So I will delete this second one, and it's not deleted. Something bad happened, and that could be because if I go on the view, this is destroying news.destroy. That's okay. Article controller, something happened. Okay, so maybe I can say const a for article and return the article, and that's the same reason it's not deleting, because we have the space here and it's returning 0. That means it can't find it. So we can remove this from our database manually. So open the database, go here, remove it. Okay, so it's gone, and now click on create, and oops, what happened? Click create, and this is going to be the second article. File, choose any file will be going to be good. Create, go on the article. That's good. But this time, if I click on edit, you can see we have a second article as the article. Now, if I try to delete it, yeah, it's deleted because Slug is good. Now, what next? What if user has created one article called second article with an image and content, another article, second article with the same name. So this is going to be the exactly same name on the title, but if I try to create it, it's getting error because Slug cannot be similar. Slug has to be unique. This means we need another way to create the Slug. Yes, we are replacing it, but we should add it some maybe a random number or random text. Somehow we need that thing. So I can just suffix it with the timestamp. So I say new date and it will be like this, and I need to say plus of new date. Okay, so is this going to work? Let's try and reload this page, and you can see it's working. So this means we have two articles with the same name, but if I try to go on the edit part, you can see this time we have a timestamp added here. So this is how we can create a normal kind of Slug, although it's not a good one, but yes, it is a working Slug. Okay, so final part is click on the article and view the image, title and the content. Remember, we have the route list. So if I say node route list or list route, we have one for show news.show, which is for news and the Slug. So for that, we just need to create controller and go and create a function, a method, sorry, not function, public show, and this will give me view, and it will return view.render of article slash show. And but here we also need the params because we need to get the article to show. Okay, so we say database dot table, which is articles dot where. Actually I already have it here, so why do the thing? Yes, like this, and we can just say params dot slug, and we can pass the article. Make sure it's going to be async one, and that's it. Let's create the show.edge file. So resources, article, and actually I can create it from the terminal, from the ace command, but it's okay. So how do I do that? First thing is very important, extending the layouts. So end section, and here we need the Bootstrap magic. So I'm going to pause this so that I can find and not waste your time on designing. So I just have created a container with a margin of 5 on the top side, text at the center, an image tag to display the image, the title and the content. So we should click on the title and we should land to the page, but we can directly check because our route is working, although route is not directly connected to that title, but you can see it will look something like this. So once we have the image, then we have the title and the content. That's good. Now what next? We need to click here and move to the show part. That means we need to go on the view, and here we should find the title. Title is there, and title also have one href. So inside the href I can say it's going to be the route of news dot show, but remember we need to provide the slug, so it's like article dot slug. Okay, so that's final touch, and click on any article. You can see we are easily able to visit that article. Wow, that's so clean and so cool. Okay, so that's good, but Now what next? Adonis has a lot of amazing things. So the thing is, you can see we are doing this database related things, but Adonis follow MVC pattern. Now we have talked about the view, we talked about the controller. Where is the model? Let's talk about that. To talk about the model in Adonis, go to the documentation, scroll down, go to the ORM and get on the introduction. So it says that whenever we are doing this database thing, we can move from this code to creating a model and then using like this. So model.all will give us all the user from the database. But how it's going to work? First, we need to create a model. So you can see we have this make model user, but we need to create a model for the article. So node is make model called article, and it's going to be article, not articles. And this is absolutely important to have the name of the model with exactly similar to the name of the table, but in a singular form. Okay, because one-to-one relationship is there with the model and the table, the database table. So this article model will be connected with the articles table on our database. So how this is going to work? We have the article, and this article is extending this base model, which will give you the power of Lucid ORM on this Adonis. So we don't have to worry about a lot of other things. We can just focus on how this is going to work. So first, I will go to the article controller, and very first thing we are doing is getting all the articles from the database, which is something like this. But let's use the article this time. So I say article, which is the article model, dot, I want all of the articles. That's so easy. Is this going to work? Let's try. So go here, click on all news, and now it says param is required to make URL for something Slug, and something is not working. Okay, so this is not working, and it's not working because you can see we are not getting any article. This means if I try to return all the articles here, you will see that we have everything null, 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 null. But although we are getting the ID correct, ID 9, 7 and 2, which is connected to something like this, 9, 7 and 2. And the best part is you can see it's already getting me from the latest one. Okay. And second, you can see we don't have any created at field because that's null thing. Okay. Now, how do we tell our article model that, hey model, we have some fields? So you can see whenever you create an article, you need to define some of the fields. And how this is going to work, actually it's not given directly here, but we can go here and you can see it is ID is the primary, created at, updated at, everything is there, but we can work on other fields. So we have one field called title, so I can just remove. And what is the type of this title? It's a string. Then we also have one for Slug and one for content and another for image. All are string. That's good. And let's now try. Reload. And this time you can see everything is there. We are fetching every data we have on our database. That's cool. This means we can go to the article controller, remove this, and whoa, we have everything here. So just like this, we can change everywhere. Okay, so this time on the show part, we only want the article where the slug is this, and we only need the first one. How do we do that? So for that, we need the article model dot I need to find but find by the slug. So key and the value. So key is slug and value is this params.slug like this. Is this going to work? Let's go and click on show. Yeah, it's working. Okay, this is so great, so amazing. Now, since this is working, let's move forward on the store part, but we will talk about the store later. But let's first work on the edit. Similar to this point, like whenever we are getting this, we need to do the exactly same thing here, and we don't need the param to be here. Now click on edit. Yeah, it's able to edit. Finally, what we need to check on the update and the destroy. So let's work for the destroy. So we can say article dot find find by. Actually, I have this everything here. So find by this dot delete. Is this going to work? No. So maybe, is there any delete by? No. So how I can delete? So I can search for delete. Okay, now it says you need to find it, then you have to delete it. You cannot do at once. Okay, so I say article, and then if article is there, then article dot delete, and then return the response. Cool. Yeah. Okay, so let's try this one, and I'm going to delete this one, or maybe this one, anyone. Click on delete, and it's now deleted. Now next part is the store part, which is absolutely important. So we are validating, and then we are saying add like do all these things. So for this, I'm just click comment that, and now I say article dot create. This is going to be very useful because we need to create, and we can pass all the payload. When we pass all the payload, let's see what's going to happen, and then we will talk about that. So first click on create. I say third third article, upload an image, do the magic, click, and I think it's created. Click here on the all news. Okay, so this is the problem. See, although it has created, but Slug is empty in this case. So Slug is not filled by default. Why is that? Or actually it's null. So how we can fix it? Let's do that in the next video. To create the Slug, let's work with the hooks. So here once again, I am on the documentation on the ORM part. We have this hook, and what we need the before save part. So when we do the before save part, what it run this function or this method before the save event, you can call it. So you can see it's given, like if we have the user, we can get the dirty means whatever we are sending from the form. Then we update the data with whatever we want. Okay, so let's see how we are going to do that. So once we have defined all these columns, then we can say before create, because we are creating, and we need the static function. So public static async. I don't know if we need the async or not, but let's have the async, and it will be like create slug. Here we get the article as the article, and then we should say like article dot slug is going to be the slug the way we have created the slug, like here. Okay, so it will be something like this. And now to get the title which we are getting from our form, we can say article dot dirty dot title. Is it good? Yeah. So this should be the fix for creating the slug before storing or before save part. Let's work on it. First, I'm going to remove this one. Then I will go here and go back, click and say third article, choose an image, say something, click on create. It has created. Let's go to all news, and boom, third article is here. So click on third article and you can see we have a nice slug. and we can verify on our database also. So you can see database is having this one. Now the best part of using the model is you can see this updated at and created at field are also added here. So this is the real benefit of using the model with our Adonis application. Okay, so this is how you can create the slug, or anything you want to do before create part can be done here. The next part is update, and for that I can just say article dot find by slug. So slug, and it will be params dot slug, and then I need to update it. So const article, and the article dot update, or how do I update it? So let's go on this ORM. This is the reference guide, and let's search for update. So update or create. No, I don't want update or create. I just want the update. Okay, so it's not here, so I will go to the documentation and find the update part. So it says you need to do the find or fail, and then you can do anything and then update, or you can just say merge and then save. You can do that, or you can also do the update directly by using the query builder. I like the query builder thing, so let's try this one, the query builder. Although this is using the type of code we have is like similar to the database, but it's for article. So where slug is slug and updating with the payload, and it's params.slug. Okay, final. Let's try to update it. Go back, click on edit and say updated. Click on update. It's updated, and yep, title is updated. Cool, very nice. So this is how we can work on with the model and create the dynamic slug with the help of ORM hooks. We are on the end of this course, but it's very important to work with the authentication. Let's see. So Adonis provide the authentication out of the box. That means you just need to run this command and you will have the authentication. That means login, logout, registration, everything very easily. So let's run this command. So this is running the command, but it says something. Hey, it says missing package at Adonis Auth. What happened? So first we need to install the Adonis Auth package. So I just need to run this one, and once this is installed, then we will move forward. Okay, so this package is installed, and now what next? We need to run this configuration command. So run it, and now it says what you want to use with the auth thing. So I'm going to use the Lucid, that means the database model thing. So let's have it, and it's for the web. I don't need the API token, so go with the web. So I have to select it, then hit enter the model name for authentication. Obviously this has to be the user model, and it will generate the user model. It says that create migration for user table. Obviously I need yes, so I say yes. So it has created a lot of other things, like created the model, the migration, and a contract for auth, then a configuration for authentication, middleware, silent auth, updated the TS config, Adonis RC, and the manifest. Lot of things. Let's explore each and everything one by one. So you can see we have a TS config updated. So I can try from here. First, Adonis RC. Since we are adding new provider, new package, so it has here AdonisJS auth is added. Then we have TS config, which is loading the types for TypeScript. Then we have a user model, and you can see the user model is having a lot of information like ID, email, password, remember me, created at, updated at, and password hashing, which is absolutely important because we don't want to store the password as a plain text. Okay, then we have the migration for our user model, and now you can see once again all the fields are there, and it's not nullable is absolutely important, otherwise it will be nullable by default. Okay, so that's good. What next? We have the contracts for auth, which is giving the providers list, what are the provider we are using in the user model, and some guard, and we have guard of web and some of other things. Now we have the configuration. So in the configuration it says guard, which guard we are using, web guard, and guard is having information about how the driver is going to be. It's a session driver. Otherwise, if we use the API token, then it will be token driver or something else. The driver for database is Lucid, not a real database query builder. So identifier is ID. We find the user with the ID, and there is an email, UIDs, and model is here. You can change if you have your own model. Cool. Then we have some middleware which is protecting our pages from different kind of situation, whether user is logged in or not. So we have authenticatable function, and which is doing a lot of things. We cannot explore it in that small time. And we have a silent auth, can be used to global middleware to silent check if user is logged in or not. Cool. Everything is done. What next? It says once you have done everything, then after that you can check all these things which we already did. Then it says you have to run the migration because you need the table in your database. So if I go reload this, you can see now it's not there. So let's say node is migration run, and we have the user model here. Cool. So user model is there, but how do we add a user? So it says that you need to create a route called login, and then you can get the email and the password from request, and you can use the auth user, which you can get from the context, and use the guard, which is web guard, and attempt the login. Okay, so this is the way we can get it. And then if we have a dashboard, then you can say await, use, authenticate subsequent request. So once we have it, then we can get the user of the authenticated user. Okay, so we have a lot of things, but let's first register the user, which we are not going to create any form. We will try to create with some different way. Remember, we have the Node.js REPL. So from here, we can first import the user model from app models user, like here. Then we say user dot create, and with all these email and the password thing. Let's click hit enter, and it's a promise. Maybe we can use the await. So once again, go import the user and do an await. Okay, so it says phc argon 2. What is phc argon 2? So can we see some argon 2 related things? So argon, okay, it's not there, so maybe argon. Okay, so here we have the hashing. So remember, we are going to use the hashing of the password. So if I go on the user model, you can see on the user model it says hash. Using the hash is coming from the Adonis core. But do we have any configuration for hashing? Yes, we have it. And here you can see hash configuration is argon, and argon is not installed in our system. So what we have to do, we have to run this command so that argon will be available. So first let's install this phc argon 2, and then we will see that everything will be here, and we will be able to create the user from the ACE REPL. Okay, so go once again to REPL, import the user model, go to the await of creating the user, and boom, it's done. So this means if I go on the database, you can see now we have the user and it's having argon2 related hashing of the password, and that's done. Wow, that's cool. This means we just need a form to log in and then we will good to go. Let's now create the login form and then we will see how we can protect our routes, like create route, delete and edit only be possible when user is logged in. To save our time, this is a Bootstrap example sign-in form and I want to steal it. So I'm going to steal this from here. So edit as HTML, copy everything and go on our resources, views, and create an auth/login.edge. And once again, we need to extend these things like here, end section, and paste this form. Okay, so this is good, but we need to create a route to access this thing. So say get route on /login, and for now this is just going to be on and then render our login like this. Let's try this on here, and let's do one more thing on the navbar. We can create a login also like here. Maybe we can move it like this. Okay, so done. And I think it's a bad idea to have a div. Okay, so login is there. Click on login and it should move me to the route which we have created. So let's say as and auth.login and login auth.login. Yeah, okay, so let's have this auth.login here. So auth.login, done, reload, and let's click on login and it says, hey, login.edge is not there because login.edge is actually inside of auth. So auth.login, cool, it's there, and we should have a form something like this which is not going. So it says body should have a text center. So maybe what we can do, we can say text center. How about this? Okay, but when we go to the main, we have this main and we can provide some classes of this one, form sign in, but it's not doing that. It's a cheating. It's very bad. So maybe I can create a div with the class of form and text center, and I can say call only 3. Let's see how this is going to work. Oh, it's bad. Call lg3. No. So maybe I can give this form as a class of call lg4. Yeah, that's good, but it has to be at the center. So justify center, which is not doing that, of call. That's bad. I don't like Bootstrap. Bootstrap, actually I like it, but I don't like it. So Bootstrap is there, and read the docs, go to the call, columns, flex and calls. So let's go with the flex. So deflex, and then we need to center the item. Okay, so this one is good. So deflex, justify center. Deflex, justify center. Okay, that's good. and final part margin top of 5. Good. So I'm going to remove this logo of Bootstrap, which is not there. Then we have email. The name should be email, and then we should have a password. So name once again should be password, and remember me should be having name of remember_me. Okay, so this form should be a method with the post request, and action will be on the route of auth.login, and we need to create a form, post request actually. So let's see how this is going to be. Dot post, and remember we already have the async, and we already have things inside the documentation, so we can just steal that. So go back on this authentication, where is the usage, it's this. So how do we do that? We just need to copy all these, and that's good. So like this. Okay, so this is good. Once it is done, then we can redirect the user, return response.redirect to slash, and this is the one, and let's get the response from here. Okay, finally this is done, and let's try to log in a user. So we need to log in a user, and we have the email as sarthak@bitfumes.com, password is password, and click on sign in. Oh, it says the CSRF token, so we need the CSRF field, CSRF field like this, and go back, give not this one, give this, password is password, sign in, and yeah, it's here. That's good. We are really signed in, but we don't want to have the log in button. Instead we need the log out button if we are really logged in. So how do we check? We just need to check by this one, if user is logged in, something like that. So go to the navbar, and here I say if user is logged in, then I need to say it's going to be log out. Otherwise, so maybe it should have a else part, we need the log in. Okay, let's see, is this going to work? It's not working. Why it's not working? Okay, so remember, we need to have the global thing. So we need to define that some routes should be inside of the middleware. So that's why the Adonis will know that these route will use the what it is using use the authenticated user. So WebGuard is there, and we are providing this login thing, and auth login, it says you can define something like this. Remember me, authenticated. Okay, so there is log out code is also there. So actually we need to add the middleware. So let's go here, go to the auth middleware, and add this on the kernel file. So we have the kernel on the start kernel, and where it should be on the registered named one. So here we are, and we have added it. Is this going to work? And I was trying the web thing, so let's go back. Still it's not working. What if I say use the WebGuard? No. Okay, anything else we have to do after adding it? Okay, yes, we need to add the group of the route with the middleware thing. So you know, these two, all these routes should be inside of this middleware of auth. Now let's try. Okay, yeah, you can see now we have the logout ready available here. That's really nice. But we can also add the silent middleware, which will be making our authentication system available everywhere. Because see, even if I'm not logged in, I can access the home page. But if I do that, you can see on the home page it says login, on the all news it says logout, but we don't want that. So once again, go to the kernel. Along with this, I need the this one, so it should be added here. Silent auth is added. This means we should have auth authentication available in all of our application. Now this is good, but this thing making the access of this article controller or this route related to news only if the user is logged in. Cool. Now what if we have the logout? So let's work on the log. Now is the time for logout. So I say route.post of /logout, and we already have the code for the logout. We can steal this. Yeah, I'm good at stealing. So we should have WebGuard. I search for logout, we get it. I can directly copy each and everything for this route and paste it. That's good. Now go to the nav bar, and here this logout is actually going to be a form. So we can have a form with the action of route of auth.logout. Okay, and this is just having a button, no href, and this is having a type of submit, and that's it actually. And we also need CSRF field, and method is going to be the post method, and let's have a name of auth.logout. Let's try this. We already logged in, although this is very ugly button because of the button thing we are doing. So it should be a link. That's very bad. Maybe we should look for the Bootstrap classes. But let's click on this, and you can see I am here. And now if I try to access all news, is not good, because all the news related routes is inside this authenticated middleware. That means if user is only logged in, then it's going to be work. But we don't want that. We want to have the authentication on the every route except the /news route, where user can see the route, also on the news.show. To understand how we can remove the middleware from only two routes from this resources, let's go to the documentation and search for resource routes and controller, search for middleware, and we have this apply middleware. Click there, and here we are. So it says that whenever you want to change it, you can just say middleware only on these things. Okay, create, store, destroy. Okay, so let's go, and I'm removing this group of middleware, and I say, hey, when we have it, let's have the middleware for create, store, and destroy only. That means if I am here, I'm not logged in, I can click on news and I can see the news. I can click on this and I can read the news. But what if I try to delete? So you can see it's redirecting me to the login page. If I try to edit, it's redirecting. Oh, it should be on the edit also. So maybe I can say create, then we have edit, and edit also need the auth. So let's try this, and yeah, redirected back here, and click on create. Boom. So we only show the create when user is logged in. So let's go to navbar, and we have this if condition. So this create will only available if user is logged in. That's good. Next point is we don't want to show this edit and delete button if user is not logged in. Same, we can go to the view, and we have this edit and delete. We can just say, hey, I have this div, so I can just say if user is logged in, then only have this buttons. You can see buttons are gone. So let's try to log in. So with the email and the password, click on sign in, and I am here. Logout ugly button is there, create is there, all news is there. I can go on the edit part, I can delete any article, that's good. And let's try to update it. Update, and it says you need to provide the image. That's a little bug, but it's okay. So I have this screenshot for all the images for all the courses I'm creating for Adonis. That's good. So this is how we create the thing on the Adonis course, and this is the final part of our Adonis course, and I'm leaving you at this point so that you will be able to explore more, because remember, everything is given here on the documentation. It's having a lot of other things which we cannot cover in just a little amount of time. So amazing course. Thank you Harminder Vik, and thank you the Adonis team. Very nice. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up, which is absolutely important. Subscribe to Bitfume's YouTube channel, and like, subscribe and share is the common thing for YouTubers, and I'm doing that also. If you like this course, just follow me on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram at Bitfumes or at Sarthak Savvy. See you on the next video.